Hello everybody, Slick Phoenix here, and today I want to discuss the new event coming up. The Advent Battle versus Illuyanka. That's the best way I could think to pronounce it, and I could be way off. But to each their own, right? Everyone pronounces in their own unique way. So anyways, if I got it wrong, well, I got it wrong. But it looks like Illuyanka to me. So this is a water event, so you certainly want to bring thunder if you've got a good thunder grid. Otherwise, if your thunder grid is kind of crap, then you can bring something else. I want to highlight just kind of what we're going to go through with the event. This is actually our first advent with the new rewards and new exchange rates and such, so I want to highlight those. So let's go over here to the Japanese wiki here. Here's the event page, and I'll post the page in the YouTube channel here on this video. And just there in the comments about it. So, a whole lot of stuff going on. I don't want to go over every last little thing. I want to kind of hit the important parts, and what's important is this boss. Minions and stuff, they're easy to deal with, and if you're weaker, just look at what each of these minions do and figure out which ones you want to try to avoid the most and take them out first. So anyways, getting to the boss, Illuyanka herself. So let's just look at the Ultimate and Ragnarok ones. So, Ultimate, the big thing about this boss is she gives herself a damage cut buff. From what I've read, she does it on turn 1, and then again when she reaches 50% health. So this defense buff is actually 3 buffs, and each buff, from what I understand, is progressively more defense buff, to the tune of a total, and they give us down here, it says 70%. So 70% cut rate. That hurts. You're not going to do a lot of damage when she's got 70% up. So she'll do that in turn 1, and then again when she's at 50% health. The other thing to consider as well is that her normal burst on Ultimate, just outside of Rage, just normal burst, she deals 7 attacks at random to your girls, and they're like 2,000 damage each kind of thing. Ragnarok does 9, and they're like 2,500 even against Thunder. So her normal burst hurts, and if at all possible, you want to avoid it. Her non-rage is an overall, an AoE, area of effect attack, and on, let's see here, Ultimate, I'm not sure, denial attack probability down. I'm not entirely sure that one's kind of the first time I've seen that description. But here, under Ragnarok, 3-stage attack probability down, so perhaps it's something like that. Maybe this is dual attack probability and this just translated funky, because they both say attack probability. So, yeah. She doesn't hurt as much in raging, but non-rage hurts, so some ideas you may want to work with. Maybe getting your team strong enough or having enough ability damage that before you even attack, you can get her to rage, because once she hits that damage cut, it may be difficult to get her to rage before she has a chance to use that pretty devastating non-rage burst. Other ideas, you may want to bring, let's see here, like Pumpkin Artemis, and use Chaos Magic. That could remove 2 of them if you happen to have Soul. then maybe you can add her into the mix, and you could get rid of all three between the three of those girls. Pumpkin Artemis is a limited, so if you're here back in Halloween and happen to draw her, you have a shot with that. I didn't, so I can't use her. I do have Sol, but then that just means I can only pull off 2 between Chaos Magic and Sol, unless I want to do some other weird off-element stuff. So anyways, that's a possibility, using off-element. Another possibility is using some of the girls that have guard. You could consider like Gaia, how she can guard and negate damage. Well, she could probably negate not all, but a lot of that damage that's done to her from Illuyanka from guarding, or any other character that can guard and just soak up damage for you. Let's see here. What are some other possibilities? There's a lot of things you can think about with going on there. Me and my team, I'm going to be having Awaketeer, and I'm going to have Jupiter, so I know that even with that buff up, I can push down her rage pretty quickly. And the challenge will just be getting through that buff, and I'll probably just take 1 Chaos Magic. Get through the first one. I mean, that'll take off 25%. So it looks like, according to this down here. So, anyways, that's the boss. Coming down here, you can get some more information about the boss as you come down. Now, I want to highlight this part right here. So it looks like the very first buff is 20% increase of defense. The second one is a 25%. And the third, another 25%, according to what they've said. To me, it seems kind of strange. 20, 25, 25. It would make more sense if they all stepped up 20, 25, 30, which in that case would make the last one a total of 75%. We'll see how that goes. So 70%, maybe an upwards of 75% if they just do the step up of each. So she negates a lot of your damage, and even if you have a strong team, that's gonna take a lot of oomph out of them. So Chaos Magic will certainly help. And then the other thing about these buffs is you can't just wait them out. They stay forever. Alright. Coming down. So here's where it talks about in Ragnarok, that normal charge burst attack. 2700 damage times 9. Yeah, it hurts. Okay. So, some suggestions on souls to use and such. So, here's what's new and the other new thing in the event, our item exchange. The rates, things have gotten cheaper. We now have 2 SSR weapons. We still have the same 1 SSR Eidolon, but overall, this costs cheaper than what it used to be. Between the 2 weapons, you got one that's pretty cheap and one that's a bit more expensive. Now, there's only going to be 2 SR weapons, and that's pretty cheap compared to what they used to be. Soul points have gone. We used to only be able to get 300, and now you can get a total of 600 from this. Books, you only used to get 5 of each, now you can get 10 of each. Half elixirs are still 20. There's an additional, right here, this Shinki. No, not this one, I'm sorry. This one, Raid Shinki Liberation ticket. This ticket will pull from the pool of SR Kami that we had during past raid events. So if you were a newer player, or maybe a player that started later on and missed some raid events, you use that ticket, it does a random draw, and you have a chance to get some of the event girls that you may have missed in the past. Another new item is the jewels, magic jewels. There's a total of 3,000 available. And there's the cost. So going on to the information about all this. Overall, this Eidolon, I mean, she seems kind of weak. 1284 max attack, but she's got a lot of HP, but total power 2,000, that's kind of on the weaker side. I mean, that's like Lilum. And then let's talk about the weapons. Excuse me. Getting a little late here. Alright, so this is the cheaper of the two SSR weapons. This weapon, if you look at it, it's kind of on the weak side for an SSR. I mean, 2100, yeah, 2190 total power. It's not the lowest. I mean, we've seen lower. That pumpkin SSR for Dark from Halloween, that thing was like 1800. It was pretty dismal, so it's not the worst. It's certainly not the best. It gives a medium HP, but a small double attack chance rate up. I'm not sure if it's worth it. You know, I guess if you need a gun for D'Artagnan to use, this could be good to get. The hammer. This is the weapon that you really want. A more expensive one, of course, but this one has a attack skill large and HP small. So this is going to give 16% to attack and 10% to HP at full power. It's okay in strength, certainly not the strongest, not quite middle of the ground. I'd say middle of the ground, probably looking at 2400 max attack, so it's low-ish, but still a good weapon to have. I mean, obviously stronger than an SR, and it's got dual skills, so this is the one you want to go for. SR weapons, if you're a newer player, you're looking to fill out your grid. This special sword, it's that glaive, is the one with the attack skill at 1770 max attack. It's decent. It's on the stronger side. Some of the SRs get up to like 1800 attack. Very few get into the 1900. So 1770 is a good value for that. So that would be one to pick up if you want SR. This is HP, so if you get any drops with it, fodder it, use it for skill levels, don't really need it. Now, for the missions, of particular note, the off-element one that we have to do is going to be wind. There we go, highlight it all. Wind. So that's the event. Again, the Eidolon, I honestly haven't really looked at her very much. Let's take a look at what this says and see if we can understand it. I should have had it up earlier and looked at her more. As I said, she's not very strong when it comes to attack power. She has a ton of health. Okay, so it looks like with this one, the more water Eidolons that you have, the greater her attack power goes, up to 50%. So the max limit on this is what comes up. So of Tiamat, if you happen to get extra Tiamats, that would be good to have. I got 2 of them myself, so 2 Tiamats plus her, there's 3. I'd need 3 more. I've got Jormungandr, Rahab, some of these other water ones that we've gone through, and you could throw them on there and you will boost water. And hard to tell from this description if it's elemental. I'm going to assume it is because it doesn't say character in here or anything. It's just water attack power up, so I'm assuming that's going to be Elemental. We'll see once we get her for sure. But that would be certainly the strongest as far as boost-wise that we have in. Because I want to say, let's see, right now, I think the biggest boost we have, 45%. That's right. What's her name? Reiki, I believe. The water one from the Fortress event that we did when we had Dark Amaterasu available to get. Okay, so let's get out of there. It's funny, this is the gun. I guess it's so bad they didn't even load a picture up for it. So the other thing that I want to talk about as well now is with this, something that might be helpful to you guys, and I'll put a link here for those that don't have it, my Advent calculator. I've updated it for the new material costs and different stuff, so it is good to go. You can now input all of the items that you want to get, primary, secondary, and all the fun stuff over here. You can even input AP usage that you do on a daily basis, and it'll tell you how many runs you can do and total and all that fun stuff, and give you either a detailed analysis if you really want to go into it, or just a little quick view analysis telling you how many runs you need to make and how many half elixirs you'll need to use. So there is my quick run through of the event with some little ideas on what to do for it. I found a video of someone who did this run here, and I will share that as well. Now, I want to note that this person had to use an elixir to be successful, but it kind of shows what the boss does, and that's what I found kind of important, was get an idea for what the boss does so you can figure out how to get past it. Alright, so I'm going to call it a night, and happy hunting when the event starts, and I will see you out in the battlefield.